Welcome to the Sentimental Twist,
where two generations share one love for meaningful spaces and gracious hospitality.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Melissa.
Let's gather around the table and talk home, hosting, and all things sentimental.
Yay!
We're so happy. We love getting together.
Brittany, tell everybody. Well, first of all, welcome to season 4, episode 3 of the Sentimental Twist podcast. Yes. I'm Melissa. You can find me on Home with a Twist at Instagram, homewithatwist.com on my website, and Home with a Twist on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Brittany Shepherd. I'm at Brittany Shepherd on Instagram, thesentimentaldecorator.com, and Brittany Shepherd TSD on YouTube. And I will also say that I am BrittanyShepherd.com, which is my marketing and social media and writing business website. So I should probably share that a little bit more with y'all.
Tell everybody, because if they're watching on YouTube, they're going to say the same thing that I said when we first logged on, is you just look so happy and just, like, I don't know, there's just something about your glowing. So tell everybody.
Well, y'all know that I loved my job with the school system, but God opened a door for me to leave that. And this is the first time we're recording post that. And I'm kind of in an off week before I start my new marketing and social media job with a local credit union. But I'm also doing some side hustling with marketing and social media with other ladies who are business owners, creatives, influencers. And I just feel so excited about this chapter. And, school starts this week here while we're recording. And I don't have to be there, and it just feels different. But I'm excited.
I'm just so excited for you, and you're going to be helping me with my new adventure that I'm going to be launching this fall. So I'm super excited about that because you're so good at what you do. What's your undergraduate degree in marketing?
Public relations.
Okay, All right. Which nowadays, the minute you graduate from college, everything's new and different, and you kind of have to just keep training yourself on things. But I'm super excited for you and all the lives you're going to touch, both professionally, personally. Just really excited.
I'm excited too. Well, thank you. We have a very fun episode today.
We do, and we are going to start with a reader email.
Okay.
So I'm going to read it.
Okay.
We love getting emails, and we tell y'all every time when we finish an episode, send us an email, the sentimentaltwistpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a recipe. Send us something you want us to try, something you loved about what we said, something maybe you didn't like about what we said, and you want us to reframe it.
Yeah.
We've got a few of those. Not that they didn't like it, but they wanted us to reframe how we presented something.
Different point of view. Like it helped to broaden our points of view.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we love it when you come to us with a question. And this is from Renee, who, was she in season 1?
She was our very first guest. I don't know if
she was
season 1 or we didn't do guests till season 2. I can't remember.
So you can find her on Instagram and Facebook, Lucy, Betty, and June. She is my vintage dealer. Well, I have several. I'm going to talk about one today for my blessed I had to share it. But Renee has a fabulous booth at the Grapevine Antique Mall. She's so good at merchandising her things. So my latest acquisition, this isn't my blessed I had to share it. It's just a promo for her. I bought a lot of vintage stir sticks.
They're so cute.
Look at this one. It's a little lantern.
Oh, that's adorable.
And some of them are from this is a seafood restaurant. Have no idea where that is. This is, I don't know what that is. But they're just so exactly what I remember when I would go with, this is Pan Am.
That's so fun. Hey, my door that goes out to my sunroom?
Yeah.
It's kind of very vintage. It's Pan Am. I just saw the logo on it not too long ago.
Pan Am makes doors?
Or they did. They don't exist.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So anyway, Lucy, Betty, and June. So look for her on Instagram. Support her if you like to shop vintage. She's amazing. And her stuff is she goes to estate sales and her stuff is top notch. So anyway, she sent us an email. Let me put my stir sticks over here. And she said, "Hello, Melissa and Brittany. I saw your post asking for questions. I love hosting people in my home. I love the planning, the setup, and the decor are so much fun for me. But when it comes to the actual food, I have a harder time. I'm great at appetizers and desserts, but when it comes to the main attraction, I am less confident. Do you have a surefire entree that is pleasing for most and can be easily prepared ahead of time? Thank you in advance, Renee. Do you want to go first?
I can give you some thoughts. My first thought is, hey, girl, outsource it.
Okay, this is season 4. Are we going to talk about our
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden?
Hey, okay,
I
so my
mean,
thought process there is
yeah.
it's the protein, especially, or like the main thing, and you could do the sides if you wanted to. So I'm having, by the time this episode's airs, it'll have been in the past, but I'm doing that Southern summer Sunday lunch that I mentioned last episode or two coming up. And my plan is to do all the sides, like the corn, the peas, the fried okra, the cornbread, and all that. But I'm going to probably get fried chicken from the Publix so that I don't have to worry about the protein part.
Because I will
But
say fried chicken is really hard to pull off. It
it
is like
is.
Mr. Twist wanted that for his birthday, and we invited another couple over, and I was frying chicken for easily an hour and a half.
Well, that's the thing. It takes forever.
It does, and it's, your
Trying to
guest
get
meal
everything alive.
I mean, it was fun. They kinda I had some appetizers and things, and they sat
Mhm,
around and ate at the bar in the kitchen, and we talked, but it just took
mhm.
forever. So
Yeah.
your idea is fabulous.
So going back to the outsourcing it, and that could be, it doesn't have to be the fried chicken. I was even thinking one of my easy entrees that you could make is just a pasta bake, and you throw things together to do a pasta bake in the oven and top it with cheese. But you could also outsource lasagna from Olive Garden or whatever. But we have to mention Olive Garden in every episode because one day they're going to sponsor us. Anyway, casseroles to make it simple, and you can make those ahead of time, and or crock pot things that you can make ahead of time, like a pot roast with the corn. No, carrots, potatoes kind of in there. That's an easy thing you can do ahead of time, put it on. But casseroles that I thought of, like shepherd's pie, pot pie. I have a pot pie, chicken pot pie casserole that I top with those Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits that you can get the mix. And I just make the mix, and then I don't make the biscuits. I just dump little like spoonfuls on top of the pot pie
Okay, I
mix.
think our readers need this recipe. I mean,
Okay.
our listeners need this recipe.
Okay. So that's kind of my thought. Outsource it is my first advice, because just the more stress you can take off yourself, the better.
Yeah.
But if you do want to make something homemade, a casserole or something in the crock pot like that, that you can make a day ahead, cook it on that day, makes it easy. So what
Yeah.
about you? What do you think?
I would agree with everything you just said. In fact, probably 3 or 4 months ago, I was chatting with a woman and she was telling me how much she wants to host, but she's just kind of is paralyzed by the whole pulling it all together. And one of the things that I said to her was, "Do you cook?" And she said, "I don't, but my husband does." And I said, "We have a couple options.
Mm.
Your husband can make the meal and then you do everything else, or you do you live near someplace that has really good food? You just, cater it."
Mhm.
And, a lot of it's not expensive to cater. Honestly, the food prices nowadays, I went to BJ's, which is like Costco for us
Mhm.
here. I bought a bag of meatballs, big giant bag. It was $25 for a bag of meatballs. And at first I thought, God, that was really expensive. And I thought, nope. By the time you buy a couple of pounds of hamburger meat
Yep.
and you do all the chopping and the
Mhm.
seasoning and it's paid for.
Right.
And you can buy a bag of meatballs, add
Mhm.
some pasta sauce and make some pasta
Yeah.
and a Caesar salad, and there's your dinner.
Yeah, and almost nowadays too, you can cater a meal, cater a dish or a couple of dishes for almost is the same amount that you're gonna buy the ingredients, and then you're paying your time as well in making it.
Time is not
Mhm.
a renewable resource.
Right.
And one of the things that I really try to coach women is don't don't try to think of a dinner party more than 8 people.
Mhm.
Because if you were to buy an entree, it will serve usually 4 to 6 easily, with
Mhm.
maybe stretching it to 8, depending on if it's all women or if it's gonna be
Right.
more men. Men are bigger eaters. But just try, so my tip would be for Renee, if you're great at appetizers, if you're great at desserts, make those. And really, you don't need more than 1, maybe 2 appetizers. Because the whole point of an appetizer is just to kinda break the ice, get
Mhm.
everybody a drink, whatever that would be, and maybe a nibble of something. Because
Yep.
you want them to be full to eat dinner, and then outsource your now, in terms if you really do wanna cook, on my website, I have a great recipe for poppy seed chicken.
Oh, that was one that I thought of, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
my
love it.
mother was so good at that, and I always say it needs to be an entree you could make with your eyes closed.
Mhm.
If you and most of the times, if you make it on repeat a lot, you're gonna already have the ingredients.
Mhm.
A taco bar
Ooh, yeah, that's great.
is just, just make, like, 2 or 3 pounds of hamburger meat with taco seasoning, and you can buy pre-chopped lettuce, maybe not right now lettuce,
Mm.
but tomatoes, onions, peppers, avocado, and just everybody can make their own taco.
Mhm.
So try to stop telling yourself I can't do it and,
Mhm.
look at other options. So
Yeah.
I hope that
Right.
helps, Renee.
Me
But
too.
we really appreciate her reaching out to us. And everybody, if y'all have suggestions, if you have
Yeah.
a recipe you want to share with Renee that you think is just like a foolproof, perfect for four
Mm.
to six people, then send us an email at the sentimentaltwistpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. Love it.
Now it's time for Porch Talk Speed Round.
Mhm.
And this is Brittany's favorite segment. This
Mhm.
is where we ask each other quick questions and give quick responses so you can pull back the curtain and learn more about who we really are. Okay. If you could bring back one store from your childhood, what would it be?
Well, there are a lot that I can think of off of the top of my head. Toys R Us, because there's
They don't
nothing.
have Toys R Us anymore?
I don't know if it's completely gone or maybe it's only online, but, like, there aren't very many Toys R Us anymore. And then also Limited Too, which was the kids' version of the Limited. I mean, I could probably still
Yes.
wear some of those clothes, but if I had to pick one, it would be a local shop, gift shop in my hometown that doesn't exist anymore. It was called Traditions, and you could, register and stuff there, but they carried Sanrio products. So they had Hello Kitty and all the things, and I could usually con my grandma, Mima, my dad's mom, to taking me to lunch at the Meat and Three buffet, Helen's Pirates Cove, and then go in to get me a little prize at
Wait,
Tradition.
what was the name of the buffet?
Helen's Pirates Cove, because our team was the pirates.
Okay. But you said something about meat and three.
Yeah, just like a country buffet where you get a meat and 3 sides and
Oh my god.
cornbread
Oh
and
my
dessert.
god. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Wow, what would you get?
Well, it was different every day. They'd have different sides and stuff, but they had really good baked chicken. And then, your typical just country vegetables. So they'd have butter beans or peas or green beans
Oh,
and mac and cheese and like Cracker Barrel sides kind of situation.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And then what do they have on for dessert?
ooh, okay. Like chocolate layer cake, caramel cake, pecan pie, um, banana pudding, all the things.
And
So good.
when you said you had to con your grandmother, your Meemaw, what did you say to her? Like,
I didn't have to con.
"Meemaw, I'm really feeling like," I mean, how did you do it?
She ate lunch there every single day.
She
So
did?
so I would just call her and say, "Hey, wanna go to lunch today?" And she'd come pick me up, and then we'd go to lunch, and then I would say, "Can we stop by Traditions?" And she would take me and buy me something.
And
And
she fell for it every
oh,
time.
yeah, she knew she was doing it. And my brother, he did the same thing, but his was, "Can we go to the John Deere store?" Because they had John Deere toys. So,
That is so sweet. I
yeah,
love that.
it's fun.
What's your favorite sound inside your home?
The silence? I don't know.
Mhm.
But the birds waking me up, it's from outside, but
Yeah.
I do have a lot of birds in my yard that sing in the morning, and I can hear them, so I like that sound in the
I can
morning.
attest to that. I remember hearing a cardinal outside my window when I spent that
Mhm.
weekend with you. We
Yeah,
gotta do that again, but except you and Anna need to come to Fort
come
Worth.
yeah, well, we
Fort
should
Worth,
plan to
and
do
then we'll
that.
go to Austin to see Julie.
Okay, I like that idea.
You have 10 seconds to defend your least favorite household chore.
My least favorite household chore is putting clean sheets on the bed, and it is because I am vertically challenged, and so it ends up being a full cardio workout. Therefore, it is my least favorite chore, and I'm defending it because it's not easy to do one, no matter how tall you are, because
Yeah.
you get it on one side and then, but when you're short, you're going around the bed like 18 times getting it done.
Yeah.
So I don't
And
like.
then you do it and you've suddenly realized, well, I've got the sheet on wrong.
Yeah. Well, I thankfully now most sheet companies put the little tab in the inside that
You
tell you if it's
say
bottom or
front.
top or side.
Yeah. Hmm.
But still sometimes I mess it up.
We should have made our beds when we left because I can imagine that was hard to get behind those little twin beds.
Well, the twin beds aren't quite as hard because I can reach over them, and it's
Yeah.
not as bad. But no, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I
Everything's
thought about that because I have a split king.
fine. Ooh,
And I thought, someday Phoebe's gonna have to come over and make the bed for me because
yes.
there's no way I'm gonna be able to crawl on top of the bed and get that corner put, and so anywho,
In the middle
I
because
think
it's split. Yeah.
yeah, I think you did a great job on that.
Thanks.
What's the first thing you do after coming home from vacation?
Get the mail, start the laundry, water the plants
In that order?
in that order.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you find $100 on the ground as you enter an antique store, what do you buy?
Well, first of all, I make sure it's nobody's $100. They
Oh,
didn't.
Brittany, come on. It's nobody's. That
No,
person left.
you know what I'm gonna buy.
I know. I would go in and say, "Is anybody missing money?" Maybe I might. I don't know. Or I might just look
Hmm.
around and then stick it in my pocket.
Fun story about finding $100. Okay, so my dad's law office was on the square in our little town, or is on the square, not was, which is across the street from the courthouse. So he went back and forth to the courthouse a lot, all day long. Well, as a teenager or in college, I was helping him out, and I found $100 bill on the street. And I was like, "Look, I found $100," and da da da. It was his, but he let me have it.
Well, how did he know it was his?
Because he had had $100 that morning and it was missing, and so it was funny,
He
but
had just stuck it in his pocket and it had come out.
yeah. You know what
One
I'm gonna
time,
buy, though?
what?
Dishes. Oh,
I'll have
yeah.
to make sure my answer is different then.
No, it doesn't have to be different.
One time when Phoebe and Doug and I were on a little trip, we went to Fredericksburg, and she was probably 7 or 8. She was little, and so, money to her was a big deal,
Mhm.
like, because she wanted to buy things. And she'd already had a certain amount we'd given her that she had earned from doing little chores, and somebody had dropped, like, $60 out of their wallet, and it was just in the sidewalk, and nobody was claiming it, and so we told her, let's pick it up and we'll sit down for just a few minutes and see if somebody comes back looking for it. And nobody did. And so she just thought, I think it took her total up to like, I think maybe she might have had $50 or $60 already.
Mhm.
So she was like, I have $120. Well, you better believe she bought every single thing she could find, little
Yep.
stuffed animals and trinkets and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
let me ask you the questions.
Hmm.
Alright. If you could bring back one store from your childhood, what would it be?
Mott's.
Oh, is that the one that was down that y'all walked to, you and Julie walked to and got candy?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
tell us more.
It was an old general store that was in a shopping center next to like a Monig's, which was like a nice department store, and there was a Skiller's, which was a drugstore, and I think there was dress shops and a barber shop. I mean, it was a nice little shopping center for back in that day. So the Mott's had wooden floors that creaked.
Mhm.
And everything, if you ever, you've seen these when you go on vacation, old general stores where they carry everything from granny panties to plungers and everything, and sewing kits and every kind of, and everything is in those glass bins.
Mhm.
And my dad would give us money and we would walk up there, and and she would meticulously pick out her candy
Mm.
because they would give you these little brown sacks. And I
Mhm.
think every piece of candy was maybe 5 cents or a penny. Well, I would go in and just start shoving stuff in the bag, and I'd go to the register, and I'd already be eating the candy, and she still is, like, touching every piece of candy, and inspecting it, and then we would walk home and, sit and
Mhm.
play candy store, or, sort all our candy, show each other what we got, maybe swap. So, and just the smell of that little store, it
Mm.
just is timeless.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
long gone by now. I mean, it it was just a nice little core memory of my childhood.
I love it. That, my shopping at Traditions was a core memory.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what is your favorite sound inside your home?
I do love the quiet, but
Mhm.
I think the sound of, like, the coffee
Oh,
dripping, the
I can
smell, if
mm,
Doug, like, cooks bacon.
oh,
I
that
love the
that
sound if we take turns cooking each other dinner or cooking dinner, and I
mhm.
just love hearing him in the kitchen making dinner and, you know,
That
calling
is
me yeah, calling me and saying, "Dinner's ready," and going in, so, yeah.
I love that too. That's nice. Okay. You have 10 seconds to defend your least favorite household chore. Go.
Mopping.
Mm,
I cannot stand it,
I can't either.
and I even bought one of those, I can't think of the brand. We've talked
Oh,
about this
cedar. Oh,
before. Oh,
cedar.
where the spin mop. I mean, it really is magical to mop with one of those buckets because you stick it in and you put your foot down on it and it spins it to get all the
Mhm,
water out. So it really does make it a whole lot easier. It makes it so you don't have to ever touch the water. But I
mhm.
just hate it because you got to move the rugs if you've got rugs. First of all, you got to sweep,
And
then
I
you mop, and then you gotta put all the rugs back down, and the house smells great, but within 5 minutes, somebody's spilled something, and it just doesn't last long.
it's true.
And it's just ugh, I just hate it. That's why I have a little housekeeper. I have her come maybe once a month to just
Mhm.
kinda get the house a really good cleaning, and then I try to clean in between, but it's my least favorite.
Yeah. I agree. I don't love doing floors either at all,
Ugh.
but,
And
it
then
is a
I think my second least favorite is dusting.
yeah.
I like to vacuum. Vacuum's one of my favorites
Hmm, okay.
because the carpet looks really pretty
Oh,
afterward
yeah,
and,
the
you know
lines and
yeah,
spread.
and I've usually have enough fur to, like, make a coat.
Oh, dog fur? Cat fur?
Dog, cats,
Cat.
4
Mostly
cats.
cat. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's see, what's the next one? Okay. What's the first thing you do after coming home from vacation?
Usually, I, have turned the thermostat up, so I will immediately go and turn the thermostat down,
It's a good one.
turn on all the ceiling fans to get the air moving, and then I like to unpack and get my stuff put away.
Mhm.
But
And see, I'm one of those that the stuff doesn't get put away till it's used again, usually.
I mean, sometimes if I'm just super tired and I'm not motivated, it's been known to sit for a while and I'll just dig
Yeah.
stuff out of it. But
Yep.
yeah, most of the time, like this past week I had 2 trips, one to California,
That's right.
and then 2 days later I got an opportunity to do a collaboration with a local hotel. So
Mhm.
we went spend a couple of nights in a hotel. So I just kept my bag packed. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
All right, last question. You find $100 on the ground. As you enter the antique store, what are you gonna buy?
Okay, so I'm specifically thinking of the Camp Bowie Mercantile, which I love to shop, and that's where a lot of people that I've bought things for my ladies' lounge have
Yeah.
booths there. So let's say it was this week. I'd probably be like, I don't need any more dishes because I
Right.
did a huge dish haul when I was in Santa Fe. So what would it be? There is a booth there where she sells gorgeous houseplants.
Oh.
So when I was in Santa Fe, my sister, I had been kind of eyeballing something that she had in her house. She's a lot like my mother. When I go to see her, I usually come home with things from her house because she'll be like, "Do you want that? I
Yeah.
don't want it anymore." And it's this really pretty wrought iron plant stand. It
Mhm.
looks like a window box.
Oh,
So it's
cute.
got like a little shelf on the bottom, and then it's all belong like this with kind of like the scrolly
Yes.
stuff.
I love
And
those.
I have it in front of my she had it in front of her French doors with faux plants in it, and it
Mhm.
looked every time I walked by it, I was like, "That is so pretty, where'd you get it?" And I can't remember now, I think she might have gotten it at a resale store. I may have said it enough times that she got the hint that I really wanted it, because when I left, she
Yeah.
said, "Would you like to take that plant stand home with you? I don't really need it anymore, it's just kind of
Mhm.
in the way." So, I wanna fill it with plants. I would say I would use the money to buy some really nice plants.
Okay. If I wasn't specifically going into the antique store, the $100 would be for plants, for sure.
Like bedding
Sweet.
plants for your yard, or would you go to Dothan Nursery and get plants, for their house? Indoor.
Probably Dothan Nurseries to get plants for my house.
That plant I bought there
Mm.
is just doing so well.
Happy.
Yes, it loves it.
I would get more maidenhair ferns. I'm terrible about keeping them alive, but I love them so
I know
much.
they are pretty, but they're so persnickety.
I found like in my house, they can be in my house for a little while, but they like the humidity of being outside. So if they're in a shady spot outside or in my sunroom, they do a lot better. So,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, let's move
All right.
on.
So we are super excited.
Mhm.
We are going to introduce to you our guest for today, Marieli, who's the founder of Tears of Joy, and it's Tears Tiers.
Yes.
You can find her on Instagram at tearsofjoy.tx. But I think her website is just tearsofjoy.com.
Yeah.
And Brittany and I follow her on Instagram. And basically, her premise is she and her husband take new and heirloom dishes to make tiered stands,
Hmm.
2 and 3 tiered stands. And it doesn't have to necessarily be plates. She also does them with bowls and saucers and cups. And her
Brittany
story,
boat.
yes,
I've
her
seen a
wi-
great boat or two.
yeah, her mission and her story align so much with our content pillars of curating things that have a story. And
Mhm.
so, and she talks about how she created her first piece. So let's take a listen. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to have with us Marieli from Tears of Joy. I discovered her, I don't know, maybe about 6 or 8 months ago. And we're Marielli's mission of creating beauty with people's heirlooms, discarded dishes, dishes that you find that you source, and then creating these lovely serving pieces with them is just right up our mission of story keeping and gracious hospitality. So, welcome. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
And you and your husband, Richard,
Yes,
are partners in this adventure.
we are.
So why don't you and also you're a partner with Bordello
Yeah.
Pottery, right?
Hmm.
Bode and Williams Sonoma. So we're going to talk
Correct.
about that. And you can find Marieli on Instagram at Tears of Joy. And it's tears, not tears, but very clever marketing. Tears as in Tiers of
Correct.
joy.com or on Instagram. Are you on TikTok also?
Yes, I am.
And you're on Facebook?
Yes, I
Because
do.
I know you I know because you get those crazy people on Facebook that say you're ruining people's china, and I don't get that.
Facebook is on Hinge, but we are in all of them. We go through all of the platforms, and I actually manage content on all of the different platforms. So I don't put the same content on all of them. Um, and we're also on LinkedIn. That's another one.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Yes.
So, Marieli, tell our listeners what you and Richard do.
Yeah, so it's my thank you for having us, Melissa. And what we do at Tears of Joy is and all of this started with us helping a friend who was getting ready for a wedding, and she couldn't find tear stands that she liked or that they were not extremely overpriced. So there was the two extremes of it, and we created stands for her, and during the wedding shower, people wanted them. So that's how it all started. And this was about 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, I've always been a little bit of signing up Fisher for things that he doesn't know I signed him up for. And we were on vacation, and I started an Instagram account. And I never told him. I didn't say anything, nothing. I actually started selling tear stands on Marketplace, and I didn't say anything to him. I had him drilling plates. He thought they were for me. He thought they were for my friends. Never in a million years he knew what I was doing. And then one day I told him, I said, I actually think I may have to come clean about this. I did start a business, and this seems to be taking off. So I need to kind of figure out how to do it. So the, our origin story was very much a story of me saying, I see an opportunity and I want to see what I do with it. But it has evolved to, I am extremely fortunate that Richard has a construction background. He used to have a construction company, and he knows everything that you can know about construction, ceramics, all of it. And using his expertise, we got really good at understanding china. How is bone china different than ceramic, than porcelain? And that's when we started drilling people's plates. So people were telling me, I have these plates, I don't know what to do with them. Can I send them to you? And that's how a lot of our mission has evolved here over the last year or so, which is we have developed the expertise to grab those precious plates that have a lot of meaning, and to be able to do something with them in which they get passed down. You get to do something with them. But for us, is doing it while also we are elevating the experience, but honoring the past of those plates. We get letters, we get the stories, and it's part
Oh,
of the beautiful part of what we do. And I love that part. Um, it's also as part of the social media side of it. There's a lot of videos of me drilling. I have never drilled one of grandma's plates. That's Richard's job. I don't do it. I
is
don't
that
have,
because you know he'll do a great job and there's no need for you to do it, or are you kind of scared to do it, or
I
what?
don't have the expertise. So
Okay,
you got to know what you're good at. So
sure.
I don't have that expertise. And Richard has developed that expertise that he looks at a plate and he's like, okay, it's bone china. This is the drill bit that I need. We also have different machines depending on the plate. We do have different equipment depending on the plate. Some of our equipment, one of our drill presses is an industrial drill press that we have to make a big investment on. And that machine is totally state of the art. And there's certain plates that only will get through that machine. So there's a lot of science behind what we do every day. But in the stock right now, when I look at his shop, there's more than 10 drill bits that he can use at any given point. So
Wow, and
it
he
all.
knows by just touching the plate
Mhm.
which machine it needs to go into.
Yes, and we have a special
Wow.
machine just for Bordalo plates. We are that. So there's a lot of science of what we do. So it's just more than just drilling the plate. It's doing it right. But also we're drilling plates that are very valuable to families. And then on
Yes.
the other side of the business, we're drilling plates that are expensive. Yeah, our Bordalo plates are not inexpensive. We realize that. We pay for them, so we know.
Right. And
Yes.
so how did you get so I want everybody to understand what you're saying by tears of joy if they don't follow you, is that you take grandma's wedding
Mhm.
china
Correct.
that maybe the kids have all I mean, I'm sure there's tons of scenarios, but the kids
Mhm.
have divided it all up. Maybe they don't necessarily want to use it to serve food on, but they just want a little piece of grandma. So they'll send you maybe a set of 3 plates
Mhm.
or bowls, because I've seen you do really cute
Yes.
bowls, and then you allow people to customize it with the dowel that goes in the
Correct.
center and then the little finial on the top. So
Correct.
I'm gonna pull your Instagram up I'm gonna pull up your website
Yeah.
because we also, we show this on YouTube, and I want people to see what it is that you're talking about. So
Yes, I
like
have
here's
one right here. I have plates.
yeah, yeah, why don't you show them examples? That's
Okay.
better than them looking at my phone.
So this is a new one, but I also have one of grandma. I have grandma dishes here. So this example here this is an example of three plates, and we already drilled them. And none of the kids wanted the actual plate. So this is about a 5-inch plate, not very big. And then what they did is that she did wanted to keep it as a small stand to put in her nightstand. And these were her great
Oh.
grandmother's dishes. So these are Japanese dishes, and they were her great grandmother. So what we do is that we allowed our customers to select the different hardware. We have more than 20 choices that they can pick from. And then we send them out with their items. And then our stands do come all in custom boxes. So we have different box sizes that, depending on the stand, you get the storage box, the gift box, and then you put your stand there. So
Oh my
the,
gosh.
the whole idea of is it is an heirloom stand. You can have it out, but if you just want to get it out on Christmas, then you have the place to store it with all of the information and the instructions and things like that. So we provide that, and then that's a completed one. So this is a new stand.
Oh,
Those are
look at
new
that. It's
plates.
got the butterfly on the
Yes, that's
top.
butterfly. So that is a new plate. So it's just reimagining the whole category for us. And
Absolutely.
the big thing as I think about it is we as we look at our creations, we have this part in which it's honoring our history, honoring grandma, things like that. We also have this part which I feel very passionate about, which is I always say I'm in a quest to make China cool again, which is historically tableware, especially, the more expensive tableware, it's more stuffy. It feels more unattainable, feels more stuffy. So for me, it's all about how do we make it fun? How do we bring that joy in that thing? I am someone who loves having people in my house. I'm someone who loves to host. If I have a friend over, I'm gonna go all out. If I am serving coffee for her, I'm just gonna go all out, and I want to have that person to have the experience. And that is my other thing with Tears of Joy. How do we think about surfwear in a different way? Um, but also, how do we elevate that experience and make it fun and attainable and not stuffy? Having people in your house should be something fun. It should not be something in which we're too stressed out about it. And that is my other thing with Tears of Joy. So it's honoring our past, having that expertise in which we can drill everything, and how do I help people see the beauty of a cabbage plate and see the beauty of this just beautiful plates that we have out there that maybe we cannot afford 12 of them, but if you can afford a tier stand and just make it beautiful, I'm here for it. So
Oh, I love
there's
that.
those two sides of my business that I feel very passionate about.
And so tell me, you mentioned before we went on camera that you tell me a little bit about what you do during the day and then how this allows you to have a creative outlet.
Yeah, so I am a corporate girly by day. So I work in a Fortune 50 company. I actually used to work at Coca-Cola as part of their strategy department. I don't work there anymore. And before working at Coke, I used to work at Kimberly-Clark, the makers of Kleenex and Huggies. And throughout my career, I have been in sales job. I have been in finance jobs. I'm a CPA. So I have always been in this kind of like an edge of being very creative,
Mhm.
but also having a very analytical side of me. So during the day, I spend a lot of time on Excel spreadsheets and analytics and helping my team go towards goals. And the part about Tears of Joy that I love is I love the business side of the business. I will never lie to anyone about that. But I also love the creative part of it. I love creating content. I love thinking about the creative side of the business. I love thinking about how can I put a table together like looks fun and entertaining. So it's being able to do that I really, really enjoy. So I get to play on both of them and I really enjoy both of them. Richard also Richard works in the business full time now. But Richard has a corporate America environment as well. So he has a supply chain background. And we say that in between the two of us, it like when it comes to how do we do the supply chain of our things, how do we find the right vendors, how do we hit minimum order quantities and all of that, we do that together. That's very much a collective effort of the brains.
I mean, y'all are like the power couple because a lot of time when people are creative and they lean into that side of the brain that's more artistic, it's hard for them to have a business plan and to keep
Mhm.
track of all their expenses and all the stuff that's not fun. But it sounds like you're able to do both and be able to. I mean, at what point do you feel like you and Rich are going to have to be like, we have to bring in more people, or are you looking to maybe be able to do this full time and get rid of your W-2 job?
Well, we do have employees. So we do. We actually do. There's a part of our business that we actually work with a local high school and we have a few high schoolers that work for us.
Uh-huh.
Um they're never on camera because they're still minors. They're 17. So as a mom, I will protect
Sure.
my seniors and my high schoolers. So But we do have some. We have a junior driller. His name is actually Mason. And we have someone that we have been training for several months now. He started with us at the beginning of the year. And he comes, drills the plate, so he knows the logic. He sits with Richard and learns what Richard is doing. So he's able to do that. We have a packer. So McKinsey is our packer. We have another packer. Her name is Catalina. So we do have help that comes during the day, comes during the weekend. So we're able to do that. Richard works in the business full time. So we manage this in the best possible way. But what I always say with this is I am very intentional about my time. I will not paint a rosy picture to anyone that I'm sitting down, relaxing. It just doesn't happen often, but I am very intentional with my time. And most days, I start my corporate job pretty early, 6:37. I'm already there cranking up work. And I kind of start dwindling down my corporate job around 4:30. I cook dinner. So my kids, I have small kids. I
Oh
cook
my
dinner.
gosh. It just keeps, I mean, gosh, you wear so many hats.
But you know what? What I always tell, and I was saying this to my best friend the other day, it I that is not a source of stress for me. It is not. So I do enjoy it. I enjoy sitting down with my family every day and eating dinner, and we get to hang out for a little bit. I'm normally around 7, and I have it very ingrained in my brain. Normally around 7 p.m., I kind of switch and I come into the studio and I start packing orders. I start organizing what's going to happen on the weekend. Kind of like, when do I need Mason? When do I need McKinsey? And so I kind of start doing all of my planning. But that happens after 7 p.m. And that goes on until about 11 or midnight. Yeah, so it is. So that's what I say. I will not lie about the amount of effort that it takes to have a business and have a corporate career. I will not put a rosy picture to it. But I also have come to a very big realization in which I have learned so much, and I learn so much every day from the small business that helps me in the big business. But also is you building something from the ground up. I find that I find a satisfaction to it that I cannot explain it. And even the boxes, it may not sound like something that is a big deal, but it took me almost a year from the moment that I drew the first specs of my boxes to having the right specifications, the right carton that I wanted to use, the colors of the logo, to finding the suppliers, to getting burned by a supplier, having a supplier and thinking it was going to work. And by the time the second order came, realizing that it flopped, they were not going to keep on with their promise, to then finding another supplier, having to take a leap because I didn't know these people, and having to take a leap of, they need me to place an order that is way more than what I want to place. But at some point I have to take a risk with this.
Right.
And for an entire month before the last round of boxes got here, I remember thinking, like, did I got scammed? Was this right? Like, should I drop all of this money on boxes and materials? But the reality is that is part of the whole thing of being an entrepreneur. You're never fully comfortable with what's happening. And I kind of love that. So I feel very comfortable in that space of being uncomfortable. So
I think that's
that is
when that's when we grow the most, is
yes.
when we're uncomfortable.
Yes, I
You know?
agreed. And I feel the growth through how I make decisions for the business, how I make decisions even with my own time, and where I want to see this and where do I see it in a few years, but also the steps to take today to make sure that I'm ready for the next 6 months. So,
Right.
and having the faith, you need to have a lot of faith in yourself that it will continue. You have to take that risk on yourself and having the faith that it will work out. And for those of us that have been in corporate America I've been more than 2 decades, you always have someone to go and talk to. You can go and talk to someone in an office. You can go and ask someone for advice. I don't have anyone to talk to other than driving Richard crazy about, I don't know if I did this right. I don't know if I should do this. And he will be like, just do it.
Everybody needs somebody in their corner that just says, just do it.
That's Richard. Richard is the one. And I'm so lucky to have him on my side, because Richard is the one that if I say, I think I should do this, he will be like, do it. And when I started telling him earlier this year, I don't know, I think we ran out of space in the house. We cannot even open the front door. He was the first one, like, you need to get a warehouse. And I'm like, but it's operational expenses, it's this. And he's like, you need to get a warehouse. And I think it had been a couple of weeks, and Richard got me a warehouse. So like, he's that kind of a guy that if I say, I'm toying around with this idea, he went, he met with the people, he toured the warehouses, he did all of the questions, and then he's like, okay, your warehouse is going to be X amount of dollars a month. So you start, your first payment is going to be in August. I'm like,
wow, how scary. But yeah, before we got on air, you may tell everybody what you said about your hallway.
So for the past, I think since November of 2025, we have barely able to open our front door because our hallway was our warehouse. So we had boxes stacked on the hallway and all of our packaging supplies. And we pretty much had to make like a little tunnel in which we kind of come in and out to be able to open the door. But our dining room table has been like another area where we keep things. And then to eat dinner, my kids just move the plates and they make like a little space, and then we're all eating there with the
How
plates.
funny.
So
But now it's going to be all in your new warehouse.
it's all in the warehouse. So we do have a full warehouse space in which we're moving all of our production there. We're very excited about this. We're moving all production to the warehouse, and then all of our storing, but also all of our plates. We have a fantastic partnership with Bordalo, the cabbage plates. We buy cabbage plates directly from the factory, which means our orders are rather big. So when those orders get to the house, that's when it goes madness. But that also allow us to always keep our Bordalo on stock. And that is something that we always feel very good about, because it is a brand that we love, and we love our partnership with them.
Yeah, well, it's very highly collectible right now. So it sounds like there's a couple of ways that people can get a custom two-tiered stand.
Yep.
They can either purchase right off your website of ones that you have. How do you source your plates if they're not from Bordalo, Spode, or Williams-Sonoma? Are you just going out to estate sales and looking for plates?
So all of our ready to ship plates, stands are mainly made with new plates. That is, so we do buy plates directly from Bordalo, from Spode. We have a great partnership with Spode. We work with Williams-Sonoma. We work with Anthropology. We actually also work with Dillard's. So we do work with several bigger partners into getting our plates. And then the other part is I spend a good amount of my time understanding like what's coming. So understanding what's coming and how do I want to be prepared for the holidays? What are the things that I know will resonate more than others? So it's kind of like when you think about fashion. So fashion for the kitchen. And so the same way as I think about plates there, we do have a very small selection of vintage plates, but that is a very small selection. I don't buy a ton of vintage plates. I only buy a handful. And I am very targeted towards what I buy. And I do that based on space. But also, when we think about the movement of inventory and things like that, is what I'm willing to invest on. So
right. And so are you more interested in repurposing new plates because of it's better quality, or it doesn't have lead, or okay.
Yeah, so that's how it started. Part of it started as There's a good amount of the population that have concerns with lead and things like that that could happen in plates that are older. So that's a lot of what got me to start thinking about it. But also because I have a corporate job, my time, and that's where my time becomes very intentional. I don't have time to go into state sales. I don't have time to hunt and things like that. I'm also thinking about how do I get prepared for the next few months? And I cannot get prepared for the next few months if I don't know what's coming my way. And
Right.
so there's a lot of this that is how strategic I am with planning my time, and then how strategic I am with planning what's about to come. So our partnerships with bigger brands, which doesn't come easy because there's a lot that is required there. Our partnership with bigger brands um, came as a big need for me to say I just don't have time to go to state sales. I don't have time, and um, it's just not something I enjoy either. So
Exactly.
that's a lot of where this kind of the road came to this, and this was last year. I was in March of last year when we started sourcing new plates.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you make your first? Well, I guess Richard didn't know that you were kind of on the DM selling the plates. Were they mainly to people that you knew, or were those total strangers?
Yeah, so my first sales, I sold to some of my friends. And then my first sales to a stranger was, her name is Julia. I will never forget. You never forget your first sale. Julia,
Right.
she lives in Houston. So she's a local artist in Houston. And she purchased a stand from me out of Instagram. Like out of my page, she left a comment, I won that. And I was like, what? Okay. And
That was your first total stranger.
first total stranger, I had no clue. I didn't have at that time like a website or anything. It was, she totally bought it off my page on Instagram. And I then had to figure out like, well, I need a processing system and all of these different things. I remember that day, I got Julia's address to go and drop the stand because I didn't know how to ship these things or anything. I stopped at Hobby Lobby and I packed the stand all pretty. I was just like, well, okay, I guess I need to have some sort of brand standard in here. So I packed it all pretty and then I dropped it in her Porsche and she gave me cash. I was,
And you're like, I think I'm onto something here.
and that's where it all started. I started thinking like, okay. And then a local boutique here in Full Share, her name is Tiffany, the owner. She had seen my page, or I knew her through something else. And she was like, are you doing this? And then she had me do a vendor pop-up there. And it went great. And it kind of forced me to, okay, well, I need a way to process credit cards. I need, that kind of a lot of that started. So that there's been a lot of people along the way that have been angels to my business as I think about the progress of how things came up. Um,
Right.
I was also doing art shows or vendor fairs and things like that. I did that at the very beginning of the business. Um, and then I started thinking about how can I make this sustainable with my life as a mom, with my life, my corporate career, and all of those different things. And then that's how all of this has started to evolve. But it was that first sales to Julia, um, and then shortly after Julia, and this was a customer that got me thinking bigger. There was a lawyer here in Houston who found me on Instagram and will buy stands for her clients. She was a divorce lawyer
Oh
and
my
she mainly worked
gosh.
with women. And she will buy a stand every time she had a case and things like that. I will go to her office and drop the stands. And she will do them as gifts for her clients.
What a beautiful gesture for a
Yes.
woman who's just divorced, either in a positive manner or a sad manner, but just to have something beautiful to be gifted. That is
Yeah.
what a treasure.
And she kind of opened my eyes to when one of the hardest things here is just developing that confidence of I can do this.
Yeah.
And she kind of opened my eyes to, yeah, you can do this. And I remember going almost every other week and dropping stands in her office. And I learned so much with her. I learned so much about the packaging, like how did I want it, what was that experience that I wanted the customer to have. So she's someone that I will never forget, because her constant orders helped me truly get to that point of how do I need to get this better and better. So it was a big thing.
Okay, so tell us when did you decide I'm going to make 2-tiered, 3-tiered stands with new plates? But then how did you decide, but I'm also going to offer the opportunity for people who have heirlooms to make them something? Walk us through that.
Yeah, so we were in March of last year is when we started our partnership with Spode. And that started actually, Spode reached out to us and they saw my content on Instagram and they reached out to me and they're like, we would love to work with you. And I was like, oh my God, yes.
And I
So
bet you love getting emails like that from people, and
yeah,
you're just like, "This is a dream that I was asked by Spode to
yes.
do something." Yeah,
Yeah.
that's big. That is really big, Marieli.
So it was last year when I got that first DM from Spode on, we would love to work with you. And that's kind of how it started. And then everything kind of started trickling there. And in October of last year, we had a customer that had received a stand as a gift. Her name is Mary. And Mary contacted me and said, I received a stand as a gift from your company and I love it. And I have these plates from my mom and I don't know what to do with them. And she said, what if I send them to you? And I was like, okay, let me talk to Richard. Let me see. And she sent us her plates. They were Lennox Christmas plates. And we created the stands from the plates that they didn't know what to do with them because nobody really wanted them. And we created stands for all of their grandkids and her sisters.
Oh my
And then what
god.
we did was that Mary's grandmother used to make this fudge that everyone loved in the family. And she sent me the recipe. And I included this recipe that nobody had in every single package. And then they all got to open the stands together. And it was just such a
Oh
cool,
my gosh, what
yes,
a great idea.
it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And after we did that order for Mary is when we started thinking about, okay, how can we do this for our customers? So what is the right process to do this? What is the process for us to make sure that, we don't mix plates and we keep everything how it should be? Because you have to be highly organized for that too. That can get out of hand pretty quickly. So that's how all of that started. It was that order. And we just started putting it out there. Like, we have the capability to do this. But before we did that order for Mary, we had drilled more than 3,900 plates before that. And we still, like, as we look at the custom orders and as we evaluate them, things like that, there are certain things in which if we are hesitant, we will tell the customer, we don't know if this is something we can do. But we take that with a lot of responsibility and a lot of respect for those plates. And that has continued to evolve now to one of the things that we offer that has been really cool is I had this idea of, what if we offer the full service? Like, you buy the service from us and I send you the box and you send me the plates back. So you don't even have to think about getting bubble wrap, how to pack them, nothing. I do that for you. So we do that now. So we offer shipping kits in which it's $59. And then I send you a box with all of the packaging materials, all of the prepaid labels. And at home, you wrap your plates, you put them in the box, you send it back to me. You have nothing to do. You don't have to do anything else. And that is a part of the service, that how all of this has continued to evolve into how do we help our customers. And our customers that are getting the custom services are mainly customers that could be older, could be by themselves, they don't drive anymore. And that's how all of this came up, is how can we make it easy if somebody's trying to do this with their grandkids, but they cannot get to the FedEx store, they cannot
Right.
get to the UPS store. They cannot carry the plates. They're heavy. They're bulky. That's part of what we do now, and it's done really well. We do have a good stack of them waiting for Richard here.
So when somebody goes to your website and is there a custom
Yes.
link, they
Yes.
fill
So
all that out
Mhm.
and then you send them the box.
Yes.
They ship it, they ship it back to you. And then do they give you direction of how they would like it to look? Or do they say, just do whatever you think is best?
We do both, but the way that it works is that we have a very hands-on process. So when somebody sends us their plates, they get a text from Richard. And so every single one of the customers for the custom plates are talking directly to Richard all the time. So he will send them a text. He will say, Bunny, your plates are here. I received 12. This is how they made it to us. Perfect. He will tell them, Bunny, I saw 2 scratches on the plates, or I saw a chip, or I saw this. He will confirm all of that with them. And if they say, I want the chip plate with this, with that, then he will do that for them. And then he will offer all of the hardware that we have available. So he will say, from this hardware, which one will you like? He will send them pictures back. He has a whole,
Wow.
he handles all of that with the customers.
This
I-
is this
yeah.
is very hands-on.
It's very hands-on. We're all about here the customer experience, and this is a process that is highly personal to our customers.
Sure.
So it becomes highly personal to us.
Yeah.
And we talk to our customers, we do that, we handle that. And even today, right before I got on this phone call, I had an email from a customer who said to me, it says my package was just delivered and I don't see it here. And just before I hop in here, I was calling her local post office to talk to her postmaster, and we were able to track the packages. And it's just that is our promise to our customers. We want our customers to feel what that extreme customer service should be like. That's what we want.
And that's so rare these days because
That's
usually
what we
you're
do.
talking to AI
Yes.
or
Yes.
something really is maybe outsourced and doesn't even work for the company.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what has been, other than the fudge, which I think is just the greatest story, what has been the most touching or maybe an odd request? Have you gotten any that have just kind of been, this is kind of odd, but okay.
Well, we have one right now, so we have 2. So this one's not. I will put more on the odd because it's not a plate.
Okay.
Richard was not happy with me with this one. So I had a customer who reached out to me and she said, I have this figurine from my grandma, and it's the only thing that I have left from my grandma. And one of my kids knocked it and broke it. Can you repair it? And it's this beautiful ballerina. And we'll have to do some work with it. We'll have to sand it down. We'll have to do some mechanical work to it. But it's in the shop right now. Richard is slowly putting together this itty bitty tiny pieces of the ballerina for this customer. And it's not a tier stand, but we know the material of the item and we think we can help her. So we are doing that. And that is a project that's going to take us a little bit longer because the little fingers of this ballerina are like 2 millimeters. It's a very dainty little thing. And we have that project right now in the shop. The one that moved us beyond belief was Patricia. She sent us these plates, and she sent us 2 plates and a little toothpick holder. And then she calls me once I received the plates. She calls me. She's like, I wanted to tell you the story of these plates. And I'm in the speakerphone, and Richard's there too. And she says, so my dad went to World War II. And while he was in war, he sent my mom this set of china. And only 2 plates survived. And I never met my dad. But the only thing that I have is this plate that survived the shipment. And she sent us one of those. And she said, I was mainly raised by my grandparents. So the other plate that I'm sending you was a plate that my grandma used to have all the time. And I kept it after she passed. And the toothpick holder, my granddad used to, after every meal, he used to take that out and he used to put it in the table. And he will just sit down there with the newspaper. And I just have the best memories of it. And then she says, I want you to grab all of those 3 pieces and do something with it. We're like, whoa, okay, this is like a lot.
Yeah.
And Richard was just like, okay, you have to leave me alone. I cannot have anyone looking at me. We actually recorded very little of that process because he was so nervous about it. And he drilled the holes. We designed a stand for her. And it was one of those things in which it makes you realize that, you know, we have someone who the only thing she had, the only tie that she had back to her parents, to her grandfathers, to people that raised her were these 3 pieces. And now it's proudly displayed in her kitchen. And she still texts me from time to time of how much she loves it. But that's what moves us. What moves us is that we can reimagine something with these plates, and that we can give them a second chance when we think about them. So, and to me is honoring those that came before us. I had I still remember my grandmother with so much love. I will never have the opportunity to have a dish from my grandma. So it's just one of those things in which I hope that through this I can give others an opportunity that I will not have. So, which is having those memories, having those things that you can treasure. So that's a big thing for us is how can we help others get there as well.
Wow, what a powerful story. I'm so honored that I've met you and that Brittany and I are watching this unfold on your Instagram. I mean, you have 90,000 followers. You have
We
just really
do.
exploded.
We do. We are.
I know with that comes a lot of work on the back end to
Mhm.
respond to all those DMs and the comments and, all of that. So,
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of people, and thank you so much for having me. When I think about 2 years ago, I would have never thought this was going to unfold the way that it has. And and there's a lot of things around social media, and a lot of people will be like, oh, it's fake, it's this, is that. What I always say is I never want anyone to feel that about us because that is not, it's fake if what you put out there is fake. But for me is I just think about I used to work at Coke. I mentioned that earlier. I know how much money Coca-Cola spend every year advertising and in commercials. So as a businesswoman, I think about where else could I have the opportunity to have millions of people looking at me that doesn't cost me a penny. It costs my time, but it doesn't cost me a penny. And this is where the magic of these platforms is for me. It is on how we can reach an audience that will find us, but it's also the change on the consumer. This is how people are buying. This is where habits are being formed. And yes, we have to respond to a lot of DMs and I have to respond to a lot of comments. But that is the only way that I can stay connected with people. And I think about it in the same way as if I had a store, I will be welcoming everyone to my store. I will be
yes.
like, hi, how are you? How may I help you today? I see my social platforms in the exact same way. You came into my store, you came into my house, so I'm going to welcome you into my store and into my house. It's the same.
So let me ask you a couple of questions and then
Yeah.
we'll wrap up. So if somebody they were interested in Bordalo and they saw all of the things that you currently offer on your website, but maybe they've seen a Bordalo piece that they know is new and still available, but you don't have it yet. Can they ask you to custom make something from Spode or like a new piece?
Yep, they
And
can.
so that would all be done through the custom
So,
request.
so I sometimes have people that DM me and ask me. I have some customers that know, and I actually have 2 orders right now. I also sell plates that are not drilled. So I
Okay.
do because I buy plates directly from Bordalo, I do have some customers that know I can put 8 more there if they're trying to complete their collection and things like that. I can do that. But I did have a customer last night, and she did it through DM, that she said, I love Bordalo, and I love the Famille Rose, and I love white and blue. And I made her, it's right here, let me show you. So I told her, I said, I can definitely fulfill the desire. So this is her stand.
Oh, how
So her stand is a
beautiful.
plate with a Famille Rose, and then we use Burley Asiatic peasants, because she wanted a little bit of blue and white, she wanted color, and she wanted cabbage. Yeah,
How
we
absolutely
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Have you
I
been
try from time to time, but how pretty is that?
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Have you
So
been contacted by anybody famous?
we actually, um, the wife of someone really famous in Hollywood, and I had no clue, no clue. A few weeks after sending the stand, I received an email thanking me. And when I looked at the email address, I was like, wait a minute. And it was from this person. This is a pretty famous director. And then the stand went to them. So I had no clue through the whole process of doing it.
Wow.
It was a stand. They had sent me a note saying that they wanted something French inspired. And then I found very, very pretty French plates for them. And that one was that I then learned what I was doing, but I didn't know at the time.
Well, I have no doubt that Martha Stewart at some points people are gonna be contacting you,
Oh,
asking you to do her stuff.
well,
Have you ever has Richard ever tried to drill jadeite,
I don't know.
Fire King?
No, I don't know.
It's a vintage, I think from the 40s and 50s. If you Google jadeite,
Okay.
Jadeite, I think is what it is. When you see it, you'll know exactly what it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So again, people go to Tears of Joy and they
Yes.
can find you on any platform. Do y'all have a YouTube channel?
We don't have I have a YouTube account that we use for instructions and things like that. I don't post a ton there, but there's an account there.
Yeah.
We do post consistently on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. So we do
Okay.
post
So they
consistently
can
there.
find you that way, and then tearsofjoy.com.
Right.
And your Christmas season is going to be gearing up soon,
We are
right?
ready. We have so many Christmas plates already. And we do, I can say it now, we have one of our stands will be featured in the Southern Living Christmas book. So we will be there this year. I'm very excited
Oh, how
about it.
exciting.
So I think I'm getting my copy in a couple of weeks. So that is very exciting. So we will be in the Southern Living Christmas book for 2026. And that is something that we started working on in October of last year. So that was very cool for us to be able to do that. And yeah, but we're already collecting Christmas plates. We have a good collection so far. I placed an order today of Christmas plates with Bordalo, so we're gearing up for it.
And where is their plant?
Portugal.
So it has to come from overseas through
It does.
customs and all of that?
Yes, we are very familiar with tariffs, with customs, with lead times. So we for Bordalo plates are actually in very high demand. And most of these orders that I received today are orders that I placed months ago. So there's a good amount of organization that this takes. Just this week, we became official partners with Fiesta. So yes, so I have been working on the background with this.
Wow, that is gonna open up so many doors for you for
Yes.
people who are big Fiesta ware
Yes.
collectors.
So just this week, we signed the papers and our marketing and sales agreement. And then I have a couple of calls coming from them. So by the time this airs, that will be all finalized. But we are official partners with Fiesta, and we are exploring several collaborations. So we are very excited about that. It's one of the few tablewares that is still made in the United States. And that is very rare right now in the tableware industry. That's a big thing for us with our brands. We are big into the craftsmanship and where are things made. So Spode is all made in England still. The Nambe collection from Spode, from Parmenion, part of it comes from India, part of it comes from New Mexico, here in the United States. And then Bordalo is all made in Portugal. And Bordalo is very interesting because it's factory run. So it's the same heritage of employees that their parents and their grandparents and great
my
grandparents
gosh.
were working there since 1884 when it started. So
Wow.
it's a big heritage of workers. I've also learned with Bordalo, as a little fun fact, the Bordalo, the color in the glazing is highly dependent on the humidity in Portugal. So if it's too humid, they cannot run the machines.
Wow.
Hmm. Yes,
You have
it
just learned.
changes.
I mean, who think back to when you made that very first those few stands for the gal that was getting married. And now 2 years later, here
Yep.
you are, and you and Richard have learned so much,
Thanks so much.
have formed partnerships with legendary china and pottery makers, and you're going to be featured in Southern Living Christmas cookbook. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes,
Well,
we
what
are.
an honor, Marieli, it's
Oh,
been
thank
to
you
get
so
to know
much.
you today. I want all of our listeners to give you a follow and support your business, and I can only imagine that amazing things are on the horizon for your family.
Well, thank you. We are. What I always say is that I just hope that people can see that there's a lot of joy that goes into this, and I think the other part for me is, when I started in corporate America, and for those of us that we have worked in corporate environments, um, I am someone who is very outgoing. I am expressive, all of those different things, and throughout all of my career, I have listened people telling me I either have to smile less, or I have to go slower, or I have to do things in a different way. Or at some point I had a boss who told me I was dressing up too colorful. And one thing that I have learned through tears of joy and through doing this is that I I'm a big believer in your authentic self and bringing this forward. And that's a lot of what every day fuels me, is that I want people to feel that, and to feel that is real because it's real. But also to have license and permission to be who you are. And that's a lot of what I express through Tears of Joy. I am very transparent in my corporate job that I do have this business and I'm very proud of it, but it's being your whole authentic self through it. And that's what I feel the most grateful through this, is that own journey for me of not being afraid of that.
Well, and authenticity lasts much longer than being performative.
Correct.
And it will burn you out if you are trying to be someone that you're not.
Yes.
So, what an honor it has been to get to know you today. And we look forward to everything that's going to unfold for you.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm so honored. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gosh, that was so good. She is just a joy.
Isn't she a doll?
I know. She's infectious. She has infectious energy. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It just goes to show you that when you love what you do,
Mm,
it really comes across.
hmm
So, what are some takeaways that you had from what she had to share?
So many. I loved everything. I just felt like it's just amazing to me that she's so genuine and fun, and how excited I am for her that this is just taken off, and all these things have come across in just the last couple of years, like these partnerships with these amazing heritage dishware companies that, I mean, I would die to work with Bordalo, or Spode. But I just think that we're cut from the same cloth, me and Marieli, because that girl is organized,
Yeah,
and
she
I
really
aspire to
is.
be as organized as she does, but she loves the dishes like we do. She loves the story behind the dishes, especially those heirloom pieces that she's bringing from customers, and I just feel like she must use the full focus planning system like I do, because she just knows how to time block, and she knows how to get things done with all the things going on in her life. And I love that. But my biggest takeaway is that I'm sending some of my Homer Laughlin Majestic Brittany that my grandmother collected for me to get some stands done. So
I
I'm
was
gonna,
going to ask you, if you had her create stands, what pattern? I mean, you'd have such a hard time picking.
yeah. Well,
So
I
the
might
name
choose some others, but that's the one that my granny collected for me that's got that burgundy red.
it's called Majestic Brittany.
Yes. So
Show
That's
up
why
at
she
the
got
store.
it, I
Is
think.
it spelled the same way you spell your name?
Yes, because I think it's technically like maybe Brittany France or something like that. I don't know.
That is incredible. So what are you gonna send her?
I'm thinking I have some luncheon plates and then bowls and smaller plate. I don't know. I may just send her a variety of things and let her put it together how she likes it because I have a ton of the pieces and I was going to sell some of it because it's just so many pieces that I can't possibly use. I have some hanging on the wall. And so I was thinking of keeping enough place settings to serve 8 maybe, but then all the extra odd and ends and things. And I have like serving bowls. So I think I could send her probably 5 or 6 or 10 pieces and just kinda let her build it and make it as what she thinks it should be.
Do you have it handy to show everybody what it looks like?
I can grab one real quick.
Okay, because I may wanna buy some from you, so I can have a little bit of majestic Brittany at my house.
This plate has a little bit of crazing and flea bites, but
Oh, Brittany, yeah, I want how many do you have?
I think of the luncheon plates, I probably have 30.
Is that
'Cause I
because you're
think yeah.
was this Meemaw?
No, this was Granny Ella, Mama's mama.
Granny Ella. So Ella collected them because she wanted to use them for entertaining.
No, I think I don't know this to be true, but this is what I think. That she collected them thinking they're named after Brittany or they're Brittany's names. They're very pretty. I can collect them for her and she can use them at her wedding or bridal luncheon or whatever. And then I'm not married. So,
Well, definitely set aside some for me because I would love to have some, and maybe next time you come to Fort Worth, you can bring them
yes,
with you so you don't have to worry about
they're so pretty.
they're just so pretty. They go with everything.
I love this like red burgundy color. Like it's a
Yes.
pink red. Like it's not a red red. And
Yeah,
that
it's an
fits my home.
unusual color that goes with a lot.
Fits my home really well.
Yeah.
But those are my takeaways from Marieli's amazing interview. What about you? What did you love about it?
Yeah, and I hope everybody understood that she still has a full-time job.
Mm.
She's an accountant, isn't she? Or
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Corporate company.
Corporate, and they have 2 small children. So, I found that when I was working, taking care of Phoebe and taking care of my parents, I worked the hardest I ever did in my life, but I really feel like I was the most organized.
Mm.
Now that I'm retired, it's kinda like, I'll do that tomorrow, you know? Okay, so my takeaways were that this business is trying to help people to understand that you can making entertaining accessible for everybody.
Yeah.
That if you don't have china, you can start with a tiered stand.
Mhm.
You can shop for 3 different sizes of plates at an antique mall, resale shop, garage sale, and that could be your flagship entertaining piece.
Yes.
Because you could put sandwiches on it, you could put cookies on it, muffins.
Mhm.
One of the things she said is that she has people want her to make them to put them on their bedside table.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
Love that.
with, like, your rings and your lip gloss and, whatever. Or, like, maybe you've got a little place near in your foyer, and you could have a tiered stand for keys.
Mhm. And all the little
So,
things you have to drop off
a
at the
cute
door.
one would be with Halloween candy in it.
Oh, how cute.
You
Yep.
know, so I loved how she's trying to reframe, which is part of our mission, is that we
Mhm.
want people to feel like entertaining isn't just for people who have all the finest things.
Mhm.
The other thing I liked is how she said taking what you have and using it in different ways, which is kind of
Mhm.
what we just said with the tiered stand could be for a variety of things. Or at
Yeah.
Christmas time, fill it with little vintage tiny bright ornaments.
Oh, yeah, that would be so pretty.
You
I could do
know,
that with my stand when I get it back.
you
Yep.
could. So,
Just thought about this is how important it is to know what you're doing before you endeavor in something like that because she was very clear about how they are very conscientious, especially with heirlooms and people that are sending things to her. They know like which drills to use, which method to use, how to make sure that they're going to preserve those plates and do the best they can. And it's nerve wracking a little bit to them. So I know that people can probably do some DIY this, but I would not try. If it's an heirloom, I would definitely not try to DIY it. Send it to Marieli. So,
yeah, and she mentioned in the interview that she has a kind of a system set up that if you like, and I don't know if this is what you're going to do, but you pay for the box.
yeah.
within the cost of building your stand. She ships you the box. Y- You package everything up with everything that they provide for you, and then you ship it back.
Mm-hmm.
Then they do it. So if you're thinking about doing this for somebody for Christmas or for a wedding gift, I would go ahead and, her Christmas season is going to be really busy,
Mm-hmm.
not just for custom orders. She's got a really extensive offering on her website, but if she shares something on a story and you like it, you need to get on there and get it, because there's been some that I liked that had strawberries on them.
Cute.
It might have been the Bordalo with the strawberries or
Mm-hmm.
something. But I mean, I click on it and somebody's already bought it.
Yeah.
So give her a follow, because I think her stuff is very reasonably priced,
I do too.
considering you're getting the dishes
Mm-hmm.
and you're getting the craftsmanship of them assembling it. You get to pick your own hardware and finial, and we're just so excited for her.
I
So
know. It's so cool. Such a cool thing to like just kind of stumble into that as a business because it's
yes.
amazing.
Yeah,
So
and her
I love the
following is
origin story too.
growing and growing and growing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Blessed I Had to Share It, where we share things we're loving right now. And I guess I'll go
Yeah,
first.
you go first.
Well, Southern Living has just launched their Insider.
I know. So cool.
So they sent me a cute little box of goodies, and I'll show everybody to promote the Insiders Club. So basically, it starts with you get a little letter from Sid Evans, the editor in chief. And basically, what it is a founding member of the Southern Living Insiders. You get a collector's edition of Southern Living annual recipes. And these are recipes they have found back in the vault that are like most favorites throughout the decades of when over 50 years, I think, how they've been in business of recipes. A members only print magazine dedicated to spring parties, and that'll be shipped in the spring. And exclusive
That's
discounts to retailers and ticketed events, and instant access to their digital recipe vault filled with beloved Southern Living recipes that have never been before published. And you
That's
get a weekly newsletter. So this was in the box.
so fun.
Mind your
Mine
biscuits,
are biscuits.
tote, this little bookmark that looks like a stick of butter,
Oh, that's cute.
Mind Your Biscuits sticker for my computer, recipe cards,
Mm-hmm.
which I had a young person the other day said, "What's a recipe card?" And a cute little grocery list that has a magnet on the back of it.
That's cute. That looks like rifle. Is it rifle
It
paper?
is, because one of their partners is Rifle Paper Company. So if you're an insider and you pay, I think there's two different options. If you're already a subscriber to the magazine, you can opt out of that option. So it's a little less,
Uh-huh.
but I want to say it's $80 to $100.
Okay.
But it gets you the cookbook and the members only magazine that's coming out in the spring.
Is that the membership for the year or a monthly?
It's a year.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And if you pay, I think the little extra, you get a year of the magazine.
Okay.
So I'm super excited about that because I want to dig into that vault and share some of those heirloom
That would be
recipes.
so fun for you to do a series and
Yes.
get
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
So anyway, what is your blessed?
My blessed, I want to share with y'all about something that I just added to my website, thesentimentaldecorator.com. It's called the Story Keeper's Shelf. The idea behind it is that basically no two story keepers are in the same chapter of story keeping, if you will. And so some of you are just learning about story keeping and waking up to the fact that, oh, yay, this is how I create my home. And now I have a name for it and I want to do more of it. And then some of you are maybe in the overwhelmed story keeper stage of standing in front of a closet full of your mother's things or your grandmother's china, and you're not sure what to keep, and you're wanting to let go some of it, but you don't know how to do it without guilt and all the things, and sorting through that is overwhelming. And then some of you are already living it. You're already story keeping. You're story keeping as a practice, and it's a rhythm, a ritual, and how you move through your home and life. So the shelf meets you wherever you are. It is basically a library of resources. So much like your digital product store, it provides resources for every chapter of story keeping. And I actually built a little quiz to help you figure out what chapter. I like saying chapter because you're a story keeper, not stage. So you're story keeping. It's what chapter of your story that you're in. to StoryKeep. And then I'll link that quiz in the show notes. But once you get your result, it points you straight to the resources that are already available for that chapter of storykeeping. And some are free and some are paid, but they kind of hone in on the things that are what you would be interested in right now in that chapter. And none of it is overwhelming, and the resources are not super overwhelming, but hopefully it's what you need right now in this moment. And I'm going to keep adding things, especially as people keep sharing with me things they'd like to see or like to have as part of their story keeping journey. And I also should add that if you're a member of the Storykeepers Circle membership community, all these resources are included in that, and some more exclusive resources that are just in the membership. But it's just one more thing to help you tend to your home
I
and
love
your
that,
story
Brittany.
journey.
So how
And
can
it's
they
just,
find out about that?
I'll put the link in the show notes to the quiz, but it's on my website, thesentimentaldecorator.com, and it's one of the selections on the heading, and it just says the shelf. What you do is you go through it on my website, and you download it immediately, the product. So
That is
it also
awesome.
comes
Oh,
to
I'll
you
have
in
to
your
check
email
that out.
afterwards, but you can get
Yeah,
it immediately there. So yeah, it's fun.
that's exciting.
I've had fun with it. You inspired me with your digital store because I was like, oh, I could offer some things that people might want. Maybe they don't want to be a member of the Storykeeper Circle, but they like a few things here and there. One of my favorite things I've done is called Tell Me Its Story, and it's a guide to conversations and celebrations as you're trying to uncover the stories of the things in your home from people who are still here. And so it's got interview questions, ideas for celebrations you can have, for conversations you can have. You can make it like a guest of honor kind of situation, or just an afternoon tea with a loved one, and just start with, hey, tell me about this painting or this needlepoint. Do you know who did that? And like kind of get that conversation.
Yes.
So
That is so valuable because we always think, well, I'll just ask her next time I see her.
mhm, mhm,
You and I both know that sometimes next time doesn't come.
you're right.
That's kind of sad, but it's
Mhm,
the reality of life. There are
mhm,
so many things that I have found or that I have in my house that I know belong to my mother, and I don't know the history of where they came from. My sister's been a good source of history
mhm.
things, like the milk glass. She's
Yeah.
the one that told me several years ago that the milk glass came as a result of mother swapping her red ruby dishes for
Mhm,
someone's milk glass. She
mhm.
and her friend exchanged that. So, it's just
Yeah.
I think that's good that you're helping people to catalog memories.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so
Great.
it's time to close the show,
Yeah.
and we always close with a sentimental story, poem, sentiment. And I'm going to share something from one of our favorite authors,
Alexandra.
Alexandra Stoddard. This is
She's
from her Daring to Be Yourself
I love that one.
book.
Mhm.
And there's a couple of things I wanted to read. So one of them is a little chapter. Her books are just so easy to read. This would
They
make a
are.
great gift for somebody who loves anything by Alexander Stoddard.
Mhm.
Um, just, get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and sit and read. She just makes you love your home so much. This one is called Does Your Home Smile?
Oh.
When you walk through your front door and feel delight, then you have found your personal style of home.
Mm.
Rooms like paintings explain themselves. Home should welcome you and greet you warmly as a mother greets a child coming home from school. Smiling rooms smell good, whether it's the smell of wax or a lilac in a vase in a hall table or the aroma of baked apples and cloves and cinnamon. Room scents are just as important as cologne, aftershave, and perfume. You can experience the scent of peach, lavender, pine, and roses by buying room sprays, scented candles, sachets, scented shoe trees, and potpourri. You can now coordinate your room scents to your body scents and have your home smell as refreshing as an apple orchard or an arbor filled with lilac.
Mm.
When your home smiles at you, it is well ordered, balanced, and clean. There is nothing beautiful about dirt. So when you have achieved a home that smiles at you in its original form and it's your own invention.
Mm.
So that's the passage about your home. And then at every chapter, she has what she calls grace notes,
Yes. I love that.
which are just kind of like little prompts for things that you can do. And I'll just read a few. When you group your collections together, stage them well, and they'll become more interesting. Putting all your eggs in one basket. We've talked about this before when you're creating vignettes. Try to cluster your things in 3s and 5s. Rather than scatter them all over the house, try to put them together so people can actually go, oh my gosh, look at this. It's a collection. Set your desk near a window so you can look outside and daydream. Have a brass knocker on your front door that speaks to you and makes you love coming home. So those are just some of the prompts that she always, there's probably 50 or 60 grace notes she's got in this one chapter. So you could just basically go through that whole thing. So this book is called Daring to Be Yourself, and we'll link it. I got it on Amazon. Cheers. With my Stanley cup and you with your pretty cut crystal glass.
I'm trying to be very conscientious about it when I'm home to drink out of pretty things.
Yes. So that's all for today's episode of Sentimental Twist. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode. We would love for you to give us a follow, leave a review, share it with a friend who loves meaningful spaces. Be sure to give us feedback on, Instagram, YouTube comments. That's great. And then I'm on Instagram at Home with a Twist, on YouTube, Home with a Twist, and homewithatwist.com. Brittany?
And I am at Brittany Shepherd on Instagram, thesentimentaldecorator.com, and Brittany Shepherd TSD on YouTube. And together we're at Home with a Twist podcast on Instagram.
Yes, we are. I forgot about mentioning
at Home with a Twist podcast. We're at the Sentimental Twist podcast.
The Sentimental Twist podcast. Yeah, give us a follow on Instagram. We're already up to over 800 followers.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah,
thank y'all. And thank y'all for sticking with this long episode. We just couldn't cut any of Marieli's interview out. It was just too good. And so it's a long one today, but maybe you like that. Tell us if you like longer episodes.
Sometimes, it takes a while. Yeah. So thank you for joining us on the Sentimental Twist,
where we believe every space tells a story.
And every story deserves a place at the table. Until next time,
keep things cozy, collected, and a little bit sentimental.
Bye everybody.